All right, go ahead, bro.
You ready? All right. Give me permission to record.
Cool, yeah.
Everybody, we are back. It is Tape Don't Lie, your favorite Raiders podcast, favorite Raiders channel, favorite Raiders everything. You guys already know what to do. Subscribe. Hit the subscribe button, right? If this is your first time here, hit the like button. If you don't like it, hit the dislike button. If you like it, leave a comment. If you don't like it, go ahead, leave a comment, right? And then, make sure you guys follow us on Twitter. I am at the Mark John NFL. We got at M Holder 95 for Matt, and then we got BD Williams at BD Williams 18. All right, so guys, it was a great game. Also my bad, I always forget. Make sure you guys get the Manscaped.com. Go ahead. I'm telling you guys, Christmas is getting close. Go ahead to Manscaped. Use discount code TDL, 20% off everything. Go ahead and hook your dad up. Whatever you guys need to do. It's gift time. So make sure you guys hit up Manscaped.com for that. All right, guys. But the real news here, the Raiders have back-to-back real decisive victories for the first time in a long time. And we have seen that the Raiders basically controlled the game for 2 games in a row. I mean, basically it was full control. If they didn't have that pick on the first drive, that's probably even why the point differential is where it's at right now. But that was basically just complete domination of the Philadelphia Eagles, 33-22. The score is closer than the actual game was. It was basically a complete beatdown. I mean, the Raiders could not be stopped this game. The offense looks pretty deadly right now, and they basically moved the football at will. And Derek Carr had one of his best games he's had in a while. So, what are your guys' initial thoughts?
I thought that was interesting that they got back to kind of like a ball control.
Is that my internet, or are you cutting out for you too?
Yeah, BD's cutting out a little bit.
Awesome. Well, I guess I'll dive into it then while BD gets it going. But right. Like you said, 77 points in the last 2 weeks. It's at this point, John Gruden, who? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think one of the biggest things for me that I've noticed about the offense is it's just so much more creative the last few weeks. I felt like with Gruden, there'd be one not necessarily trick, but kind of different type of play, a game where it's okay, yeah, you see the flashes, and then with Olsen, it's kind of been there was one screen that stood out to me that they threw to Renfro, even the touchdown to who was it, Brian Edwards on 4th and goal, line up in jumbo package and run a tunnel screen, just getting more creative. And I feel like that to me is obviously comes down to Olsen giving up a little bit of control, maybe more of a committee approach than the dictatorship that was running before it in the past and whatnot. And I really like the to be able to see that and then making teams have to honor that kind of stuff in the practice week and whatnot. If you look at the Raiders in the past, like I was talking about, or if you have to honor it once, it's not as big of a deal. But now you don't have to prepare for just the bread and butter players. You have to prepare for the tricky stuff that they're getting involved in too, and getting the running backs involved. So love to see it.
All right, cool. BD, your thoughts, man?
Yeah, can you guys hear me? I'm good on my side. I just thought it's cool that they didn't rely on the big play. They put together drives like we've seen them do in the past. It was about efficiency because before this point it was just try a whole bunch of stuff deep. And Derek Carr, he's throwing 63% completion percentage, and now today it was let's be surgical. So I think if the Raiders can do both approaches, that's a tough offense to stop.
Yeah, for sure. And, playing a 2-high team like this, that's the approach that they needed to take. On tape, the Eagles barely let any deep passes at all. So, that's what they play to stop. And if you are able to move the football like the Raiders did, and they tried to take some deep shots, they did. But Derek Carr, he was smart, and he played quarterback like I've been wanting him to play all year. That was there. The Chargers game, some of these plays was there. And so some of these plays are there in the Bears game, but he wasn't taking them as much. So I was happy that he was actually taking what the defense was giving him and still able to push the ball downfield in the intermediate part of the game, which I think has elevated since Olsen has come in. Like we're seeing more intermediate throws, because, pushing the ball downfield is a little bit more than just like throwing the ball deep. I mean, he still pushed the ball downfield in this game. It just wasn't those big bombs. It was just kind of hitting the intermediates, and that's still the same thing to me. So,
yeah, I mean, just I'll let Matt jump in here just real quick, but it wasn't like they're reliant on the big chunk play. That's my point, right?
Yeah.
They put together drives. Love to see it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I was just gonna say one bad throw from Derek Carr out of 34. You'll take that any day of the week, twice on Sundays, right? I mean, And the other thing we've kind of talked about, and I actually think the Raiders have done a pretty good job of this year, spreading the ball around. I mean, Foster Moreau comes in tight end two all week until Darren Waller goes down in a freak accident on Friday and leads the team with 60 receiving yards, 6 catches. Renfro right behind him with 7 of 58, and then Edwards, of course, 3 and 43. Zay Jones, the lone deep shot guy, one catch for 43 yards. So I mean, again, spreading the ball around, a lot about what we've been talking about, a lot of improvement, lots to like offensively from the Raiders in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, yes. Go ahead.
I also think the backs getting involved in this passing game has looked so much better under Olsen. I don't know. I mean, they're obviously doing some different plays like the screen stuff. I just think the ball's getting into their hands earlier. Yeah. Instead of Carr dropping back, getting through his progression, like, oh, no one's open, let me throw a check down, and everyone's swarming. Josh Jacobs, like, no, they're getting the ball like early in the down. They're able to like make a move, make someone miss. The backs seem to be thriving under Olsen in the passing game.
Yeah, I mean, and the run game too. The run game, I mean, this is probably the best the offensive line has looked all year. I mean, they basically dominated up front. I mean, there was a lot of pressure. I mean, those guys. I mean, you guys saw it in the preview, man. Those guys were not just some kind of joke kind of players.
Yeah.
Hargraves had the most sacks by any DT going into that game. He just was dominating people, and he was kind of quiet. He did get some pressure on that one play that caused the interception, that helped cause it. But other than that, I mean, really didn't hear anything. Maybe we'll see something different on tape. I mean, I know Carr was getting rid of that ball quick too, which is something that's happening more often in this offense. Was this change since Olsen has came in too, is that Carr is really playing in rhythm a whole lot more, which is making him a whole lot more accurate because he's playing in rhythm. So,
and you can't pass rush a rhythm quarterback like that. If the ball's getting out at the top, like the back of his, drop, what are you gonna do as a pass rusher there, right? Like Matt, you used to play defensive line. That's what a quarterback is doing. Right.
And, it's annoying as hell whenever it's like, all right, as soon as you touch the offensive lineman, ball's out, right? Or whenever like they even if you time up the snap count, there's really nothing you can do. But I mean, like you guys said, I got to give it up to the Raiders offensive line. I'm sure you guys were too. I think you guys even talked about it on the show. Like I was deathly afraid of what Fletcher Cox and Javon Hargrave could do. I mean, Josh Sweat and Derek Barnett aren't bad edge rushers either. And I'm just looking at the numbers here. No sacks for the Eagles, 2 QB hits. Like you said, I thought the running game was a ton better. I think they ended up averaging 4.1 a carry. I think that got weighed down a little bit by the end of the game, trying to run the clock out and whatnot.
Yeah.
But I mean, absolutely a phenomenal game. I mean, one of the guys I talked to this week from the Eagles, Brandon Lee Gouton, tweeted it out at halftime. It was like the Raiders are one of the worst teams running the ball, and then the Eagles were giving them 4.7 a carry, 4.9 a carry. I mean, obviously it speaks a little bit to the Eagles defense, but huge for the Raiders offensive line that's been struggling these last few weeks and hopefully finally starting to put it together. I can't remember, did John Simpson end up going in? I know he went down again at the end of the game. I can't remember if he came back, but that'd be the only biggest thing I'd have to watch from the offensively.
I really don't remember if he came back in that game.
It was real late.
Yeah, so if some of the comments, if they saw that, let us know. But I mean, that kind of sums up the offense. I mean, Keon Drake had his best game. He had the touchdown. He averaged 4.9 yards per carry, 14 rushes.
Back-to-back weeks for touchdowns for Kenyon Drake.
Yeah. So he's looking really good. They're running a lot more power for him too. So that's kind of the big reason for that. Which is, I mean, Greg Olsen, he just kind of came in and he's made slight adjustments that needed to be made. So, and I think that's kind of what I'm excited to see. We're seeing more 11 personnel out of them, not as much big personnel, which I guess you could say, I mean, they're down tight end. So I guess that could be the reason. I mean, you could say that, but I mean, that was never his forte when he was calling plays before. So I think it's a little bit of both, because you didn't see it last week, right? And they had 3 tight ends last week. So he can say that, but they didn't do it last week either. So that's a little different. We're seeing a lot more 11. That means a lot more Hunter Renfrow, a lot more of those guys on the field. Hunter Renfrow is a better run blocker too. He's a pretty good run blocker. I mean, he's just a great football player, right? He makes plays, special teams, blocks. Yeah, he's just a football guy, right? Football sure. Renfrow. That's best. Not Renfrow. I just call him football Renfrow, right? He's just good at football, right? So they want, you got him on the field more, so he's getting like better crack blocks. It's all those things are working, and just running from 11 personnel is just better. It's just a better idea. Spread out, keep the boxes lighter. So, but anyways, transition. We got the defense, right? Let's talk some defense. Another good defensive performance. How many turnovers they had this game? They had about three, right?
Did they get a pick? They had 2 fumble recoveries.
They 2 turnovers. 2 turnovers.
Gotcha.
2 turnovers. I mean, Jalen Hurts got a lot of garbage time yards, but he's garbage time Hurts. I mean, that's what they do like to every team. They're always down like 28-10 with like 7 minutes left. They lose 28-22, and then everybody feels well. And then the Eagles fans, well, maybe Jalen Hurts is okay.
Yeah,
that's a garbage time. But yeah, they kept him in check. I mean, they're 6 out of 13 on third down. I mean, they did get to 358 total yards, but still nobody's had over 300 yards passing. The Broncos did barely, but I mean, they still kept another team under 300 yards passing and only 223 passing yards. I mean, the rush yards are a little elevated because of the scrambles, but it was a good defensive performance all around, I believe. I thought. What do you guys think?
Yeah, outside of the first, go ahead, BD.
Go ahead, man.
I was just gonna say, outside of the first drive, I mean, it was shut down until, like you said, the garbage time started happening. I'm looking at the breakdown of points by quarter, and there were 15 points in the fourth quarter when it was already 30-7.
Yeah.
And it was honestly, they were moving the ball just with Jalen Hurts, scrambling around like you're talking about, where I was like probably like 60% of their offense. But I mean, other than that first drive, Denzel Perryman, I think they kind of got him a little bit in coverage, kind of been the theme of the year, a little drag routes and whatnot, beat him over the top. But obviously that's not what he's in the game for. But yeah, absolutely dominating ever. I think Brandon Faison, that was really impressed with what he did today. He gave up a few short stuff, which is kind of what the Raiders and Gus Bradley are going to give up. But the Eagles were targeting him a lot. I wouldn't be surprised if we look at the stats tomorrow. Brandon Faison had like 10 targets or something like that. Had that one pass breakup and only one missed tackle that I noticed towards the end.
I think I counted 3 pass breakups from Brandon Faison today. So nice. We'll see what ends up being like an official stat and all that stuff. But his length makes a big impact of the catch point. That's just something that he's born with. So does a good job, and he's competitive. He hustles out there. I think like one of those touchdowns at the end, Faison kind of got fooled by a similar look last week. So I'm gonna have to turn on the all 22 to see if like that touchdown catch towards the end of the game went to Faison again. I'm leaning towards yes, but I got to see the all 22. So I definitely he's got to continue to improve. But I think the signing of Trufant was a message to Faison, like you don't rest on this right now. But he's
and the benching of Amy Robertson.
Yeah,
right. So definitely got challenged. He rose to the challenge so far. But my concern with the defense really is just mobile QBs. Like these guys are scrambling for all kinds of yards and keeping offenses in the game against this defense. Even against the Jalen Hurts, where it's like, this is his game. He does not sit in the pocket and pick you apart. He likes to exit the pocket even early sometimes. Like sometimes they design it so that he can leave the pocket, and throw on the run. And the Raiders just kind of like allowed that to happen. They, obviously there was moments where there's pressure, but there's also moments where Jalen Hurts is escaping from pressure and throwing downfield, right? I think he did that. He's done that better against certain teams. He had mixed success doing that this week against the Raiders. I'm just concerned, if they have to face Lamar Jackson again in the playoffs or something like that, they're going up against Patrick Mahomes, who likes to extend the play. Got to see some better rush lane integrity from the defensive line. But other than that, great pressure game on defense, and they're doing a solid job contesting catches in the secondary.
Yeah. Max Crosby, he's going to get a lot more play now because he beat Lane Johnson pretty good. So that was kind of the test for him. People wanted to see what he would do against a real right tackle, and we saw it. So I think we could start, supplanting him with like some of the best pass rushers in the league at this point, because it's every week now. And then you see what Unique is doing. They got some good pass rush, bro. I mean, they're relentless. They just keep going. They all got motors. They just picked up a bunch of top notch lawnmowers, man. That just they revved them up and they just let them go, and they just keep going and taking the games over really. And then the offense scoring points. Yeah, that's a great way to go. So I mean, people, like I said, people are worried about them not being able to stop the run, but if the offense keeps going and they keep moving and they keep scoring and making plays.
Who forced that first fumble? Who forced that first fumble? Was that Thomas?
Quentin Jefferson, I think.
Yeah,
Quentin Jefferson.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So he forced two then.
Yeah, well, the second one wasn't like Quentin Jefferson forced. That was forced by the guard.
Oh yeah. That one.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I was like,
Jefferson pulled it out. That's right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I mean that's a weird one. Have you ever seen that before? Any guys here like the guard tipping? I've never seen that. It's weird.
I've never seen because I don't know why. Like I don't know what the guard was doing. Why his hands would be flying outwards. That was really weird. Because when we watched it live, I was like, how did Jalen Hurts just drop that? Like it was a perfect snap just right to him. But yeah, I mean, I've been around football for a while. I've never seen the guard or someone who's not in motion affect the snap like that. That was just a weird play. But I feel like if you're an Eagles fan, that kind of got to sum up the game, sum up the season for you right there. But,
yeah, exactly.
Like, that's rough. Like I watched that and I was like, man, like this helps the Raiders, but I almost feel bad. Like this is just bad luck that went the Raiders' way. But hey, we'll take it.
Yeah.
Marcus, building off what you're talking about with Yannick, I felt like this game too was something that he kind of needed. It felt like the last couple of weeks he'd been a little bit more quiet, still kind of been nursing that hamstring injury. Didn't look quite as explosive as I'd seen him, or at least not as explosive as he looked in week one. Mm-hmm. And then today he comes out and gets those 2 sacks. And I mean, it looked like he kind of was back, had his fastball back a little bit today. And I mean, talking about Crosby to me, but to me, Yannick was the superstar of the pass rush today. But of course, Crosby definitely got his fair share in there too. I'm mad though, they didn't give Crosby any credit for that sack on Yannick and where they both like met at the quarterback. They just gave it to Yannick. So they're stiffing my guy, man.
They're stiffing Crosby, but
you never know how some of these stats are counted. Like a lot of this is like really subjective sometimes when it's 2 players that are involved in the play. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, the tape doesn't lie. Like these guys are creating pressure, regardless of what who ends up getting a stack. Yeah. Even Jefferson, he's creating some pressure. He didn't come away, I don't believe, with a stat in terms of pass rush. Yeah. But he was hounding him. Solomon Thomas was hounding Jalen Hurts. Yep. Yeah. Great effort. Great. I hope these guys still have energy by the end of the season. Like they're playing balls to the wall right now.
Yeah. Perfect time for the bye week, bro. Perfect time for the bye week.
Absolutely.
And then they got to go to New York, so that's gonna be an exciting game. And they can try to get to 6-2. But I mean, right now they're sitting atop the AFC, and I mean, after these two, playing an average team and basically dominating for most of the game, and then playing a bad team and then basically beating them down. I mean, they seem like they are a legit football team at this point. So going forward, I think it's going to be a great outlook for the season, but they got to finish. I mean, like last couple of years, but we'll see.
Like you talked about, I think you tweeted out, like, this is what playoff teams do to bad teams, right? They put them away early. And that's the thing that I think we haven't seen from the Raiders, even in the last 2 years, where these teams like that, they've kind of like the Dolphins kind of in the beginning of the year would be a good example, that they just let hang around either in the beginning of the game or the end of the game. But this was a complete game for the Raiders that makes you feel a little bit more promising. Makes it feel like this team's more legit than maybe in the years past, where they were, beating the Jets by a last second touchdown and whatnot.
Yeah, exactly. Because this game was a beatdown pretty much. They really couldn't stop them, and that feeling of the offense not being able to be stopped, and then the other team's offense feeling like, okay, we got to keep up, and then that allows the pass rush to just get after it. Yeah, that's a winning formula in today's NFL. So I really like it. Right. And they're still pass heavy too. That's what I like. And the play action. I think Carr was like 9 for 9 today, 110 yards on play action.
Wow.
So there you go.
I mean, it's so refreshing to finally see like the Raiders be built all around and by the passing game, right?
Yeah.
Like the last 2 years, especially defensively, it's like, oh, we got to stop the run. Like, well, what happens when we get a 2-score lead? So, and like you're talking about, but best way to stop the run is to play with the lead, baby.
Exactly. Exactly. That's how you stop the run. All right, guys. Any other thoughts on this game? Any other thoughts?
I'm a little disappointed that the secondary didn't come away with an interception. I mean, Jalen Hurts put the ball in danger a couple times. Couldn't capitalize. That's tough to see, tough to stomach. If you get an interception against any team, it's got to be like Jalen Hurts, like type of quarterback, something like that. But hopefully we start seeing just more consistent in terms of turnovers and secondary. But other than that, I agree with you guys. Complete game. Yeah, that's it. That's it for me.
Yeah. Any other thoughts, man?
Not necessarily thoughts heading about the game necessarily, just heading into the bye week. Obviously, being healthy is going to be huge. Hopefully, Richie Incognito can come back. I don't know. I believe the Giants game is what they were targeting for him to return, especially if, like, we don't know yet. I don't know if anybody dropped in the comment section, especially if John Simpson is banged up. Obviously, Darren Waller being out.
Denzel Perryman went out too, right?
Yeah, Denzel Perryman went down. Yeah, that's huge too. And then, I mean, obviously, Josh Jacobs didn't return in the second half. So definitely the bye week is coming at the right time. And I was just looking at it too. The Chargers have the Patriots next week. Patriots looked good the last 2 weeks. Didn't win, obviously, against the Cowboys, but dominated the Jets today. So Raiders are in a good spot to even be in first place after or hold first place on their own, I should say, after the bye week. So I'm looking forward to it. The huge Chiefs loss too. So Raiders are in a good spot right now. You got to be feeling good if you're part of Raider Nation. First in the AFC West, got a couple game lead over your biggest division rival, and could be holding on to it. Haven't felt this good in a while.
Yeah, man, and I mean, if they go out there and beat the Giants, they might be favored to beat the Chiefs, which would be interesting.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. It'd be a first time in a while.
A long time. All right, everybody. Well, we appreciate everybody listening. Right. And you remember to subscribe. Check us out. We'll be back, Wednesday with another episode. Make sure you check out Matt on his Holders Handfuls, right?
There we go. Holders Handful, yeah.
Holders Handfuls, right? Make sure you check out his podcast too. If you're listening to this on the audio, that means you're subscribing to Silver and Black Pride podcast. So make sure you do that and then download that on Spotify as well. All right, guys. We'll see you later.